And we're live. Friday the 26th of April. It looks like today might be a challenging day for me. I don't know why, but already taken 2 losses, which I mean, losses are fine. The problem is I didn't take the winning trade. That's the big issue. So this was the perfect trade. This is my trade that set up perfectly. I actually got into this at the break of this candle. And then it started going sideways. I started second guess it because of the long wick on this candle. You know, it was shortly after kind of this news. So I thought, well, maybe it'd be better just to be safe. So I went ahead and closed the position like 2 or 3 ticks in profit, something like that. And then, of course, it did go to the break through the opening range. So it would have been probably a break-even trade anyway. But to not follow the process was the failure there. I also got in a trade here. We poked through the bottom just a little bit, pulled back up. I took the break of the candle with my stop behind the candle. It turned around, stopped me out. So that was fine. I don't have a problem with that entry or that loss. The big thing I have an issue with is not holding that. So that is a red flag for me. It means I'm not objectively identifying my edge. So got to be careful with that. And then in one of my other eval accounts, I actually already hit my daily loss limit on a trade. Took a very speculative trade in NQ, so not a big surprise that didn't work. But so let's see what happens here. We are headed back up. Bounced off the bottom here. Now we're headed back up. See if we get a retest. Oil just opened, so we're starting this open range formation here. We got the overnight open down below, so that's kind of where I'm looking to go to potentially. It's not very far away. I'm going to be cautious of longs in gold because we have a pretty big 15-minute fair value gap above us that has been respected. There it is. So we tapped up into it here, came back up to it this morning. But the fact that it came down, it took this liquidity, now it's headed back up. Maybe that's what it needed to push on through. Just need some kind of a retest here. The other potential is that we pause at the top of the range. So if we get a retest either at the midline, which would be ideal, or the top of the range, I would be interested in either of those opportunities. Why is it so hard to get a line in the right spot here? In NQ, we had a huge reaction off that news this morning. That's a 100+ point candle. Waiting to see if gold would come down to the midline. Yesterday in NQ, we had, guess we had some earnings reports come out here, Microsoft or somebody, that pushed the market way up. But yesterday's morning news had this push down. And I said we should expect that it's going to come back up to that data high at some point during the day. And sure enough, it did. Sure, there was some kind of an entry down in here. Nothing that I felt comfortable with, but that's certainly where it went. So it's nice to see that work out that way. See how it happens today. I don't know if we're going to work back up to this high. Or not. We'll keep an eye on it. It's interesting that it didn't break a high. So that leads me to believe there's the potential it goes back there. Because if it had taken out that high and then come down, then maybe that's as high as it wanted to go before a drop. But we'll wait and see. It's kind of choppy right now. All right, is gold going to be picky? Haven't quite got to that midline yet. But we got a fairly nice reaction in this candle. I think if we break up here, I might get in. In this case, I'm going to be kind of wait and see what we do when we get to that top of that range. If we show hesitation at the top of the range, I will get out of it because it's showing hesitation. There's not, it didn't actually come all the way down. We'll see. See what it decides to do. And stop hit. That was disappointing. So let's see what this does. I mean, it looks like we're trending down here, and I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out because it looks to me like we failed to create newer highs before we took out lows. So I'm curious to see how this fair value gap is respected. Is it respected and we push back down to the overnight open? Or do we eventually blow through it? Let's see how this guy plays out. That's too bad. That takes us to our daily loss limit in that account. So we'll see what the other account does for us. Probably shouldn't have leveraged up so much in that one, but so this is funny. So this candle actually tapped the line. Yeah, I was probably over leveraged in that position because where's the break of this candle? This one right here. Would have been the break of the candle. The midline would have only been 21 away. And if we held our stop behind that, which would have been the rational place to put it, probably even 2, you could have easily done 25 ticks. And still been in it. At this point, though, I'm going to kind of wait and see. Let's see, what's oil doing? Oil popped out the bottom here right away. Again, we have this beautiful gold line down here, or the overnight open down here. Excuse me. Man, what really annoys me this morning is if I had taken this trade here, I would have had that account passed because I only needed, well, if I'd have done 3 contracts, I only needed $500. So would that have been like 18 ticks, something like that? Right, and this one went for 40. So that trade is all I needed, which would have been the same trade I took the last 2 days, right? So 3 of those trades got the account passed, would have had the account passed. I did take that trade, but I only took it one contract, and then I second guessed it because of the long wick on this candle, and it was shortly after the news. So because of that, I said, well, I don't really want to risk it, so I got out for a very small profit. Which in retrospect was an unfortunate decision, but it's how we learn. No, I do not use the same strategy on NQ as I do in oil and gold. I've seen it work, but NQ's behaves a little bit differently, so I've never been confident just executing it executing it on NQ like I do in gold and oil. Speaking of oil, go ahead and try this out. We're going to move the target to the overnight open because it's only 39 ticks away. $22 ticks. Let's see what it does here. I don't necessarily like that my lines are stacked with the red line, gold line stack like that usually indicates long. However, my lines take precedent over those, so I'm going to go with my mid-range line instead. I don't like how this is like, can't see it all. This is why I normally don't do the chart trader on the screen that I'm sharing, is because it's too small and it's kind of adding this information on it is very cluttery. If we close above the midline, I will just kill it. And now we'll wait for a retest to go in the other direction. Let's see. I don't know, we still have very sideways action though. Got 10 o'clock news. Consumer sentiment. So far, gold is stair stepping down. See if we get a short entry off of this. Be a little careful in gold, I guess, because we have equity open here in 3 minutes. A little less than 3 minutes, which is something that gold will react to usually. Yeah, there's the bottom of the range. So we move our stop to break even, or I move my stop to break even. Let's look at our extensions just to see. So if it pushes through, that 100% is down here in front of the overnight open, which is good. It's a long way down. See if we can get there. All right, I'm going to close that out. That was a strong wiki reaction there, so let's wait and see. Anytime we sit for 4 candles like that, I don't like that. When we did it here, we sat on that line for 4 candles, 5 candles, and then turned around. So, in my mind, that just means indecision. So I'll just wait till it decides. I'm not going to gamble on that. A nice breakout on oil. Came back up above the midline here. Pushed back down, retested up. Now it seems to be failing again. I have the Febreze jingle going through my head. Must have popped up as a YouTube commercial this morning for me or something. Think happy Febreze. Na 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 na. All right, I'm belling on this. I got in at the break of this candle. I got out for basically break even here. I'm not going to wait around on this one. This is not the clean entry that we like. Where I should have been holding, so let's see. I always like to look at these and say, okay, how should I have played it? Because I keep kind of bending my rules a little bit, which is not good. So that's what we need to work on. Entry is here. We fell the top. We break below the mid. We test the mid. Entry is break of this candle. Boom. Once we hit the opening range, that's now our break-even point. And this is like screwing around here, but it's still coming down. So 27 is the top of the range. It went at maximum of 48. But like we've said, if it fails here, there's the potential it comes down to the overnight open, plus obviously our 100% lines here, which is 108 away. So at this point, you can move your stop loss to just behind this pivot, right? So that's now locked in 8 ticks. Not a lot, but hey, you're not going to lose money on the trade. And then the idea is, let's see if it falls down to this 100% line. Or 60 ticks is where I would have my kind of default target. See if it gets there. Let's see, NQ, we're at the bottom of the London range. Should say that this strategy that I use in gold and oil is not one that would work very well with Apex accounts unless you're past your trailing drawdown, because you do end up with a lot of the potential for a pretty big pullback. So You can lose a lot of your trailing drawdown in these trades if you're not careful. Come on, I want to see you hit that 60 tick target. And then blow through it to the 100% line. There it is. So that would have been the 60 ticks. And now continuing to fall. So that's my executions were just bad today. Strategy 1, my trading 0. Oh my gosh. Could have been a win or at least a break even. No entry, no entry, no entry, entry, win. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know what's worse, taking a loss or seeing your strategy play out perfectly and you didn't take the trade. The good thing is there will always be another opportunity. Oil's not behaving itself particularly nicely this morning. Still think it wants to get down to that overnight open. It's just taking its sweet, sweet time. And news in 12 minutes. Consumer sentiment report. I'm not sure, is that one that moves the markets? Sounds like it would. Seems like consumer sentiment would be something that would be important, but we'll see. All right, let's see if we can get down to the overnight open. Matches our magical 100% line pretty closely. It's only a 32 tick range for the open, so it's a kind of on the smaller side. Not terribly small, but all right, let's take these lines off. See if NQ can make up a little bit for us. Especially as oil's being super choppy. This trade in NQ is not based on any specific strategy other than the fact that I think that we're going to hit these data highs, or I would anticipate that we have. We took out a low, we held here, and we pushed up towards the top of the range. We took out the London midline. So give it a shot, see where it goes. Still meandering down in oil. All right, see, did this wick take something out? Nope, nope, nope. And break even. Which we really shouldn't have. Let's see. Oil's kind of stalled out, and NQ is moving. There's the London high. I think it's got more in it than that. All right, I'm going to take it there. 20 points. That's pretty good for me. Got news coming up, so just take what I know I've got. What do I want to do over here in oil? I'm just going to kill that one too. So wins on both of those. That's good. See what the news does here and go from there. Still think it's going to come up here and take out this high up here, but the only thing I knew for sure at that point was I was up 20 points. So I'll take it. Take the small win. All right, is it going to get there? Come on, come on. All right, one more minute till the news. All right, here's our news reaction. Not a huge reaction, but a reaction nonetheless. Gold is back up to the bottom of the range. So gold hit this low exactly. So I don't know that it's ready to turn around yet. Let's see what else we got. I don't know though. We've had this kind of strong push down. We have definitely broken that structure, so it's maybe the time when we just rock it back up to these highs. We'll wait and see. Those appear to be the levels that have offered the most resistance and support to this point. Oil hasn't really decided it wants to turn around yet. Paused for a while. Still consolidating. Let's see, NQ consolidated a little bit and boom, there's the overnight open, and see if we reach up and touch those highs up here. All right, that overnight open offering some resistance over here in NQ. We're holding above that London high for the moment, though. So if we come down for a retest before potentially attempting another move up, or we just fell from here back down. Man, I wasn't paying attention and NQ had me distracted and I missed this gold opportunity. So we're sitting on this red line. We hadn't quite made it right to the midpoint. We're sitting on the 5-minute red line. We failed to break above this fair value gap. Got that little tiny, nice little candle. That would have been a really nice entry point. So I did jump in. I jumped in late, which actually puts me down right now. Well, not quite. So my entry was 54.6. I just kind of got in right here. So let's see if it's like we might be winding our way back up. All right, I'm going to get out for break even right there. That was not a great entry, so I'm not willing to risk it, especially because this could be a retest. Right, we broke above the bottom of the range, retested down. This could just as easily push up as down. And then down it goes. There you have that. Oh, yeah. So we did poke down into this fair value gap one more time before we pushed back up. Is that enough? All right, there's that high in NQ. All right, there's a strong push down in here. See if this is just a small pullback. See if it has enough momentum to break through that gap and get to our 100% line. That's what we want. Still haven't got that yet. 45.8. I did get back in on the break of this candle here. So see what we can get to. Should probably refine this gap to be right here because this was kind of what it's the most recent one. Have my stop move to break even, so we won't lose money if this rips back, but oh man, break even. Guess we didn't lose anything. That's good. Oh, and there's the overnight open. There's the 100% line in gold. Or not in gold, sorry, in oil. Took its sweet time getting there. Oof. Ugly. Well, a nice little retest to the bottom of the range. Short little trade. 25 ticks. Not much and a lot to wait through to get to it. But it got there. All right, we're back up to the bottom of the range. Yeah. Do we take another attempt at this? I think we almost have to, right? And I got a lousy fill on that one. All right, chart, what are you telling me? Tell me you don't know what you want to do. And if you don't want to know, if you don't know what you want to do, who am I to guess, right? The only thing I'm looking at is the fact we still haven't hit 100%. We still haven't hit the overnight open. But this is really choppy. So the question is how much you're willing to sit through. And that's kind of proportionate to your conviction that it's going to go where you think it's going to go. Even though nobody really knows, right? So you got to just see what the chart's telling you. I think the chart is telling me that I should just get out of it. So I'm going to get out of that. Let it do its thing. Of course, I got out of it, which means now it'll do its thing, which is going to translate to probably going where I need it to, or I wanted it to go. All right, NQ took out this high and is holding above it. Holding it above it for the moment. Glad I got out of this, or I guess I'm not, I shouldn't say I'm glad, but looks like this may have been the right decision. Although I still wouldn't be stopped out if I was still riding this out. So this red line trade would have been 70, could have easily got 60, which is kind of what I'm going for. This one, if I'd have got in on time, went 54. The red line corresponded with the opening range on this one, which again went for 45. And that 15-minute fair value gap would have been a nice target, so keep that in mind. I don't like trading into those, but usually does go into them, even if it doesn't go through them. So those lines could be good targets. Keep that in mind for future reference. Came down here, retested the midline, red line dropped. This one went up to the red line and dropped, and now we're got some wedgie action going on. Wedging up against the bottom of the range. Well, we broke out of the wedgie. It's going to come down now. Let's see. Oh, come on, gold. You know you want to go down there. Well, there gold goes. What's a gold? once again, gold just demonstrates sometimes it takes a while to get where it wants to go. All right, let's see if it has enough juice to carry through here. Last candle pretty much stopped at this low. The body did, so we'll see. What are we looking at NQ? Yeah, I'm going to give this little room here, but come on, close up there for me. Nope, not yet. There we go. I hate those trades because they're not really based on anything more than it sounds bad, but it's like a feeling, right? We had a little pullback. I mean, you know, there were signs, right? We have the London high. We had a pullback to the gold line. We pulled back. We popped back above the overnight open. We kind of retested down. So let's get in. Let's see if it moves. So it's like I'm glad it worked, but it wasn't like a super high confidence trade. It was really just taking a trade in the direction that the market's been going and waiting for a little bit of a pullback to some kind of a level and getting in. So I'm glad it worked, but those are really the kind of trades you shouldn't take. Those are bad example trades. And it's almost worse when they do work, right? Because then you get confidence in the wrong things. You think you can read the market, but I guess you did in that moment, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to do it again. And see here, it turned around. So if I hadn't taken my profit right there, we would have been stopped out for a break even. All right, I just want to see gold come down to the 100% like it always does. Gold. I will have to say overall, there it goes. Overall, this week has been better. This week was a better week. Especially since Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Even though today I took a full, I hit my daily loss limit in that account. Which is disappointing, but not it doesn't wreck the account or anything. So and technically we got here off the midline. It came back up right to that same spot, right, before it actually made the push down, sort of. I mean, it had a little smaller pullback, push again. I mean, the thing that you really had here was you have kind of this, whatever you want to call it, propulsion block, right? Down close candle, up close candle, immediately violated by another down close candle, which creates a nice level right there, which is respected. And I saw that in there. I just didn't have the confidence to hold through it. Should have. Because that's where we were looking for the entire time, right? Was that overnight open, 100% mark. We hit it. Can't complain. I mean, it got to where it gets to. The trick, as always, is getting in at the right time and then being willing to just hold through the nonsense while it gets there. Okay, so that could have easily been a 107 tick trade. Not easily, but it was. Ooh, excuse me. Right? So this is one of the things I've played around with as far as the strategy goes, is do you move, the way that I do it in practice when I execute it the right way, when I follow my rules. The rules say once price hits the bottom of the range, okay, so once price hits here, you move your stop to break even. Would have done that here. Stop would, not have been hit. We moved to the 50%, so I would have moved my stop to the open range. Would have got stopped out here for 28. Okay, so that's not bad, right? Losing 28 is the worst case scenario. Here we have a nice little retest, so we have an opportunity to re-enter. And then the same rules would apply. Okay, we hit the top of the range in that first candle. Move stop to break even. Okay, let's take a look at this because this gets... Oh, we got room. We got room. So I'm going to do this right here. There we go. So the low on that candle was 56. The high on this candle is 55.9. So we would not have been stopped out, very close. And then it continued down. And had we just sat through it, just let it go. We would have been fine because actually we didn't hit this 50% again until down here. So we would have moved our stop to the open range up line up here. And then from there, it just fell. So pretty easy from there on out. I mean, there was a little bit of a pullback, but that's how we should have played gold today. Instead, we lost money on NQ. In the one account, we made money in the other account. So here's where the day ended across the board. So when I post the little number in my thumbnail for today, I'll show this number here, the loss of 940. All right. This was a really speculative trade on the news in this account, which these are all evaluation accounts. Okay, so that hit the loss limit in one trade. Not not a surprise. Then I traded this one a little bit wiser. My only issue here is I got out of trades for small profits when it looked like they might pull back, when in fact they would have worked out just fine. So could have made more, but move the needle up in that account. So overall, it was a good day. I mean, the strategy worked fine. I didn't work the strategy fine, but the strategy itself worked fine. So still working on getting kind of those mechanical executions. Part of it is really just defining the rules a little bit more clearly for myself. I should have a checklist. Maybe by Monday I'll have my checklist that says when these conditions are met, then you take your trade. And part of one of those kind of asterisks that I'm going to add is the fact that I don't like taking trades into big 15-minute fair value gaps because they tend to fail frequently, which is obviously the case here. The difference, and kind of treating them all basically like the overnight open. Okay, so it doesn't mean I won't take the trade into it, but due to the fact that this gap is here, I don't necessarily expect that we're going to hit our 100%. We could, but that's on the other side of the gap. With this in the way, the probability is lower. And so with that in mind, maybe I set my target a little bit lower. There's no reason to hold through that. And that bottom of the range served in this case as a nice profit target. So really, there should have been no losses following the strategy today, right? Maybe you didn't make as much as it was possible to make, but there were no losses, right? Worst case, this was break even, right? We really had no entries. An entry here. Let's get that out of the way so I can see what's going on. And this is, you know, why this candle does touch the range and then rips back up higher. So I guess, you know, what do the rules say in that case? Well, I took a trade, was it yesterday or Wednesday? I don't remember, where this same kind of thing happened, where we tapped it and we pulled off of a hard. I got in and it worked really well. In this case, it didn't work. So just looking at this, I mean, if you're expecting a move and the move just stalls, that's an indication that you should probably get out. So really, I could have, once this candle formed on its high, I should have been in profit basically, or break even, and I could have just killed it there, right? We didn't get we didn't get the move up that I was looking for. You know, worst case, you take a loss. So let's say you took a loss from there to there, 26, okay? So now you're break even. We're going to go worst case scenario, you're break even. Now you're negative 26. You take it here, just like we talked about it. What was it, 28? Okay. So now you'd be break even on the day after taking basically a stop out here at 28. Right, and that stop out was because we hit the 50% and retraced somewhere in here. Okay, you can take another entry here. This doesn't actually, you know, cases like these, this is where I do use the red line. And really you look at it and say, has it been respected before? And if you can see, almost, I mean, go back through London session and we respected it. When it finally failed, we respected it on the downside. We broke up, we respected it here, right? So it's being respected. So if you see a reaction off of it, especially when it's flatter like this, it's almost like the midline shifted down is kind of how I read that. Even though this candle still was able to reach up and touch the midline, you know, this average is kind of, this point of equilibrium, I guess, is kind of moving down. And now it's moved down to here. So when we see this reaction, again, pretty tight stop too, which is what made it really good. This one you would have had to be quick because this candle just dropped like pretty much as soon as that candle closed. The next one just dropped. But, you know, you're looking at 14 ticks. So pretty small risk. If you wanted to be super safe and go to the other side, you're only at 23. So that's not too bad. And then this is the one that goes the entire direction. So after break even, negative 24, I think, positive 28. So now we're up 4. We're basically even. And finally, we take this one, which goes down to our 100%, wherever that was, for like 100. Okay. So that's how it worked. I mean, you saw how I traded it, which was like crap. So if you don't stick to the rules here, it'll burn you, like it did me today. Or you'll just get scared out with little profits. For instance, maybe pulling or maybe selling on a pullback before it turns around. So even though you sell for a profit, it's a fraction of what the trade really had to offer. So that's my breakdown of gold today. Where are we at? We're at the 9:50 macro time. We're having a hard time pushing up through this stuff, so I don't know. We're just gonna, is it consolidated enough and now it's ready to level up? We have targets over here. See if I can get that line straight. There it goes. It's like way up there. That's really the next target up, I think. Looking at the 15-minute chart, that's all I see. We don't even really have, we have some small 15-minute fair value gaps up here, but nothing that gives me too much, or that, oh wait, I moved that line. I should lock these lines in place or something so I don't accidentally move them around like that. All right, where you at, line? There you go. Okay, I locked it so I can't accidentally move it again. And that matches with a pivot point too, so that's kind of interesting. Got to kind of push through this level up here. I don't know if it can. 15 minutes. It's been pretty sideways. The last 3 15-minute candles were just barcoding. Not really too interested in taking a short here. I mean, we seem to have manipulated this low. This tapped basically exactly to the 50% point of the fair value gap that was created on the 15-minute chart during that big jump up yesterday afternoon. So, I don't know. We'll see. Could still want to come back there. See what the afternoon holds for us. Can take a look at my account balance, see if I can get this other account passed today. That'd be good. And then come back at it Monday. So I think that's all I've got for the stream today. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope the weather is just beautiful wherever you're at. Hope you're able to relax. Maybe do a little back testing, a little study, but give your mind a rest so that you're fresh on Monday.